27-13. Philadelphia Eagles take this one. Two of the better teams in the NFL, certainly in the record department. Top 5 graded players for the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. Linebacker Nakobe Dean's at the very top of the list with an 86.1. Edge rusher Nolan Smith, an 84.0. Wide receiver Devontae Smith, a 79.6. Wide receiver A.J. Brown, a 77.7. Running back Kenneth Gainwell, 77.1. And then Jalen Hurts in this one, a 67.4. On Pittsburgh's side of things, edge rusher T.J. Watt with an 88.7. Edge rusher Alex Highsmith, a 72.0. 72.4, excuse me. DeMonte KZ with a 70.0. Edge rusher Nick Herbig, a 68.7. Wide receiver Calvin Austin, the third, a 68.1. And then Russell Wilson in this game, a 60.4. Stat that told the story, Dalton.
All right, so all the talk all week was about the Eagles' passing game and all the controversy and Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and all that, right? We don't need, especially for the Eagles to have success here, we don't need Jalen Hurts to go out and do what Josh Allen's doing and chucking balls 60 yards down the field doing crazy shit, right? What Jalen Hurts is and should be in this offense is the point guard, all right? Mm-hmm. Short throws, quick throws, just move the chains, right? Because that's what they do. They're a ball control offense. Did they run the ball great in this game? No, it makes sense. You're playing the Steelers. You have the best D-line in football against maybe the best O-line in football. Maybe you're not going to run for 250 yards today. But Hurts made the throws that just kept moving the chains. Throws under 10 yards. 20 of 21, 201 yards, a touchdown, a 79 passing grade, which is really, really good when you're talking about only throws under 10 yards. There's not going to be any big-time throws in there. 165 yards after the catch for Philly in this game, the second most of the season. Hurts plays point guard, and we complete passes, especially against man-to-man coverage, because that's all you need to do. When you got dudes, when you have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside, just get them the football any way you can and let them work. These are two of the best guys after the catch in the league. We don't have to go out there and chuck go balls like we've seen sometimes this season where it feels like, okay, they're either going to run it or they're going to chuck a go ball against man coverage. No, just run slants and quick ins and RPOs and things like that and just have Jalen Hurts play point guard. And at that point, you run out of answers for stopping this offense, even for a defense as good as the Steelers. But this was about Jalen Hurts getting back to just complete passes. These two guys are freaks. Just get them the football. They'll win games really single-handedly. Who's covering A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? How many teams are even capable of it?
Not many. I don't know if anybody's capable of covering A.J. Brown at this point. To me, the stat that told the story is just one offense is better. You know, without George Pickens in the lineup, it's hard for the Steelers to remain as balanced as they want to, right? The Steelers are kind of like the Eagles. They want to run the football. They want to take shot plays. Eagles are just better at it than they are, and they very clearly showed that. Now, unfortunately, again, like the A.J. Brown version for the Pittsburgh Steelers was not healthy in this game. So we've seen what this Eagles offense has been without A.J. Brown, and it's not nearly as pretty. It does not operate nearly as well. But, you know, when it comes to time of possession, 20 minutes for the Steelers, 40 minutes for the Eagles. When it comes to first downs, 10 for the Steelers, 26 for the Eagles. 163 total yards for the Steelers, 403 for the Eagles. 30% third down conversion percentage for the Steelers, nearly 60% for the Eagles. They're just better. They're the better offense in this game. And I think this was a tough matchup in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And when it came down to it, George Pickens, obviously, in his absence affects this a lot, but it was just one offense that was better than the other. Can I tell you what my most impressive was?
Absolutely.
It was one of the most soul-crushing, will-imposing drives I've ever seen. Okay? So the Eagles get the ball, and there is 10 minutes and 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Now, they're up the score that it ended up being. So they're up by 14. So they're looking for a long, methodical, control the clock type of a drive, all right? So what we want to do here with this drive is we want to just make it so the Steelers have one more possession. That's it, because they can't beat us if they just have one more possession.
If you burn off 6 minutes, you did good.
If they score a touchdown, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're up 14. You just need to control the clock a little bit here, all right? So 10 minutes. No, so it was it was 10 minutes and 29 seconds. It must have been. It was 10 minutes, 29 seconds left in the game. 21 plays, 88 yards, all 10 minutes and 29 seconds. You talk about salting the game away.
Felt like I was watching Army play North Texas.
This was unbelievable. So Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown each had one catch. It was for a first down both times. There were 14 total carries, 4 rushing first downs. It started at the Philadelphia Eagles' 3-yard line, and it ended at Pittsburgh's 8-yard line with a kneel down to win the game.
It almost feels worse as a defense that they didn't score.
Almost.
Because, I mean, they just dragged you through the mud for 10 and a half
21
minutes.
plays, 88 yards, 10-minute, 29-second drive. That is the story of the Philadelphia Eagles offense. You know, we talk about a lot of different things with the Eagles, but at the end of the day, I know a lot of people get mad at the tush push, all this kind of stuff, whatever. If they can do that, they can beat any team in this league.
Get ahead, grind you down.
When the Eagles are so annoying because of how good they are at holding on to the football on the offensive side of the ball. And when you have the ability to have a drive like that, I'm not even saying replicate that drive. I'm saying anywhere near it. 6 minutes, like you mentioned, a 6-minute drive would have been great. 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. If you have the capability to be able to do that and slow down this game so much, you could beat any team in the NFL.
Yep. And
that was the most impressive thing that I saw from the Eagles.
And they
in this game.
They can beat any team in the NFL the way they're playing on both sides of the ball. I don't think there's any question. Look, right now, because of all the Lions injuries, I think we have to sit here and think that Philadelphia is now the NFC favorite, even if only because they're the healthier team. And I know it's kind of a backdoor way to do it, but health matters too. And very often the team that at least gets to
and
it.
Minnesota's right there, and they're on fire, you know.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know if there's a ton of people that would pick Sam Darnold to beat this Eagles defense, especially head-to-head. Now, we'll find out the hard way.
I don't know, man.
Maybe it's the year of Sam Darnold.
I was going to say, I'm about done doubting Sam Darnold.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
about done.
That might be the only scenario left is I go, okay, if you beat the Eagles, holy shit.
They don't play the Eagles, right? No,
not to the postseason.
Right, not to the postseason.
Right, so, I mean, that would be the last bit of doubt I have on that. But even so, I mean, the Eagles, they just have so much balance. Their defense is great. You mentioned the ball control, and my most disappointing is the Steelers' just inability to do so. 15 design carries for 45 yards, only 12 yards before contact. And the big play for me that really turned this game before we get to that drive was, the Steelers' first drive of the second half. They're down 7. They're driving. They look good. They're going into Eagles territory. And Najee Harris just drops a toss sweep, and the Eagles recover it, and it just felt like everything deflated for the Steelers from there off that turnover. It's just, again, like we mentioned, almost like with the Browns and the Chiefs earlier, you can't make those type of mistakes against Philadelphia because they're going to capitalize, and they're going to go down and score a touchdown. They're going to go down and have a 10-minute drive to kill the rest of the game. You just can't have that. So that was really a turning point in the game for me, but the Steelers – same thing. They're banged up on the offensive line. They've had tackle problems for the better part of 2 years. James Daniels got hurt earlier in the year. Mason McCormick's been okay, but this is a different beast you're talking about when you're playing Philadelphia. And you can't. The Steelers would have had to have executed at an absolutely perfect level to win this game.
Yeah.
Especially without Pickens.
Again, they just didn't have Pickens. That's my most disappointing in this one. Russell Wilson, 1 for 2 on passes of 20 or more yards. I mean, this has been his bread and butter all season long. 31 total yards. It was only 1 completion to Calvin Austin that he had of more than 20 yards. 49.4 passing grade from Russell Wilson when attempting passes of 20 or more yards in this game. On the season, before this week, 98.2 passing grade on such throws. It has been a part of his identity and part of this team's identity that was non-existent in this game, and shows you how important Pickens is for this team.
Yes, it's Pickens, and deep ball variance is tough to live by. It can be week to week,
but that's what's given me so much hesitancy with the Eagles. Is I go, okay, you run the ball really well, and then you have the shot plays to A.J. Brown, but what happens when that doesn't work? Well, here's the thing. I don't know the answer to that question. We're 15 weeks in because it hasn't stopped working.
Well, you got an answer in this game. Now they went back to not just forcing the deep shots because they completed slant after slant.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
In this game against this defense was the blueprint for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl. It's Hurts playing point guard. Now the go balls, you got to do it once in a while.
They'll do it, right?
But if you make it so you're not just exclusively go balls, you're a hell of a lot better. And I think that's the part that showed in this game, especially against a team in the Steelers that runs a lot of man coverage. And can I just get into A.J. Brown for a second? I just have to. the biggest reason, and I get it. I get why there was all the controversy and everything he said and everything last week, and didn't say that much. They asked him, "What do you need to get better at?" Passing. He wasn't wrong. That's honestly, he wasn't wrong. They played the Carolina Panthers and threw for 100 yards. That won't win a Super Bowl. This will win a Super Bowl. And why? Because they take advantage of one-on-one matchups. So A.J. Brown, he had 8 catches for 110, but the bigger thing to me, against single coverage, 6 catches for 89 yards. 6 of his 8 catches against single coverage. Trev, he's got a 97.4 receiving grade against single coverage this year.
Yeah.
That leads the NFL.
Oh, it's stupid.
He's the best one-on-one receiver in the NFL this year. So when he gets single, I don't care if it's a slant or even whatever, a 6-yard curl, whatever. Just get him the football. I think, what didn't you say the boss himself, Chris Collinsworth, said? He's a freak before the catch and he's a freak after the catch.
Essentially.
So when would he lose?
No, he doesn't.
Just get him the ball somehow, some way. When you have the best receiver in football against single coverage, and you have Devontae Smith just floating around the formation wherever you feel like on any given play, this passing game should work like this. He's not wrong for what he said last week. Now, the manner and the handling it publicly and all the freak out, because everyone freaks out about everything, it is what it is, and then Brandon Graham and everything else that happened last week, but he wasn't wrong. The good news is they went back in and they fixed it, and this is what it should look like. Is Hurts as the point guard, whether the running game is working or not, this is what their passing game should look like, because Hurts is better within that 15-yard range. He's very accurate in that range, and I know we saw in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs he was chucking deep balls and doing all that, but that's not Jalen Hurts. It never has been. Hurts is really good off play action. He's good in the quick game. He's good intermediate throws. He's one of the best throwers from 10 to 20. We don't need to chuck go balls in this offense. We got guys that can get open, and we got an accurate quarterback who can get him there in that range, and they can work after the catch.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.